Have you ever observed huge black ants of various sizes gathering peacefully indoors? Perhaps those are carpenter ants. Termites and carpenter ants are the most problematic pests in New Hampshire's buildings. The state is home to 4 species. 3 are all shades of black. The 4th is black with a midsection that is red-brown. Adult workers vary in length from 1/4 to 1/2 inch, while adult queens are 3/4 inch long. Only the reproductive forms, kings and queens, have wings. They shed their wings before selecting a nesting site. Winged carpenter ants are frequently confused with winged termites. Did you know that, contrary to popular belief, carpenter ants do not actually eat wood? This is because they are unable to digest cellulose, but they are clever enough to only create tunnels and nests within it. Carpenter ants are large ants indigenous to many forested parts of the world. They build nests inside wood, consisting of galleries chewed out with their mandibles, preferably in dead, damp wood. However, unlike termites, they do not consume wood, discarding a material that resembles sawdust. Sometimes, carpenter ants hollow out sections of trees. They'd also commonly infest wooden buildings and structures, and are a widespread nuisance and major cause of structural damage. Nevertheless, their ability to excavate wood helps in forest decomposition. They also farm aphids. In the farming, the ants protect the aphids, while they excrete a sugary fluid called honeydew, which the ants get by stroking the aphids with their antennae. Habitat. Carpenter ant species reside both outdoors and indoors, in moist, decaying, or hollow wood, most commonly in forest environments. They cut galleries into the wood grain to provide passageways to allow for movement between different sections of the nest. Certain parts of a house, such as around and under windows, roof eaves, and decks, are more likely to be infested by carpenter ants because these areas are most vulnerable to moisture. Carpenter ants have been known to construct extensive underground tunneling systems. These systems often lead to an end at some food source. These tunneling systems also often exist in trees. The colonies typically include a central parent colony, which is surrounded and supplemented by smaller satellite colonies. Food. Carpenter ants are considered both predators and scavengers. These ants are foragers that typically eat parts of other dead insects or substances derived from other insects. Common foods for them include honeydew produced by aphids or extrafloral nectar from plants. They are also known for eating other sugary liquids, such as syrup, honey, or juices. Most species of carpenter ants forage at night. When foraging, they usually collect and consume dead insects. Some species less commonly collect live insects. When they discover a dead insect, workers surround it and extract its bodily fluids to be carried back to the nest. The remaining chitin-based shell is left behind. Sometimes the ants bring the chitinous head of the insect back to the nest, where they also extract its inner tissue. The ants can forage individually or in small or large groups, though they often opt to do so individually. Their main food sources normally include proteins and carbohydrates. I have observed instances of carpenter ants bleeding Chinese elm trees for the sap in the northern Arizona region. These instances may be rare, as the colonies vastly exceeded the standard size of carpenter ant colonies elsewhere. When workers find food sources, they communicate this information to the rest of the nest. They use biochemical pheromones to mark the shortest path that can be taken from the nest to the source. When a sizable number of workers follows this trail, the strength of the queue increases and a foraging trail is established. This ends when the food source is depleted. The workers will then feed the queen and the larvae. Foraging trails can either be under or above ground. Nesting. Carpenter ants work to build the nests that house eggs in environments with usually high humidity. This is due to their sensitivity to environmental humidity. These nests are called primary nests. Satellite nests are constructed once the primary nest is established and has begun to mature. Residents of satellite nests include older larvae, pupae, and some winged individuals. Only eggs, the newly hatched larvae, workers, and the queen reside in the primary nests. As satellite nests do not have environmentally sensitive eggs, the ants can construct them in rather diverse locations that can actually be relatively dry. Some species, like Camponotus vagus, build the nest in a dry place, usually in wood. Nuptial flight. When conditions are warm and humid, winged males and females participate in a nuptial flight. They emerge from their satellite nests, and females mate with a number of males while in flight. The males die after mating. These newly fertilized queens discard their wings and search for new areas to establish primary nests. The queens build new nests and deposit around 20 eggs, nurturing them as they grow until worker ants emerge. The worker ants eventually assist her in caring for the brood as she lays more eggs. After a few years, reproductive winged ants are born, allowing for the making of new colonies. Again, satellite nests will be established, and the process will repeat itself. Pheromones. As in most other social insect species, individual interaction is heavily influenced by the queen. The queen can influence individuals with odors called pheromones, which can have different effects. Some pheromones have been known to calm workers, while others have been known to excite them. Social immunity. In many social insect species, social behavior can increase the disease resistance of animals. This phenomenon, called social immunity, exists in carpenter ants. It is mediated through the feeding of other individuals by regurgitation. The regurgitate can have antimicrobial activity, which would be spread amongst members of the colony. Some proteases with antimicrobial activity have been found to exist in regurgitated material. Communal sharing of immune response capability is likely to play a large role in colonial maintenance during highly pathogenic periods. Relationship with humans as pest. One of the most familiar species associated with human habitation in the United States is the black carpenter ant. Carpenter ants can damage wood used in the construction of buildings. They can leave behind a sawdust-like material called frass that provides clues to their nesting location. Carpenter ants' galleries are smooth and very different from termite-damaged areas. Control involves application of insecticides in various forms, including dusts and liquids. The dust is injected directly into galleries and voids where the carpenter ants are living. The liquids are applied in areas where foraging ants are likely to pick the material up and spread the poison to the colony upon returning. Relationship with humans as food. Carpenter ants and their larvae are eaten in various parts of the world. In Australia, the honeypot ant is regularly eaten raw by Indigenous Australians. It is a particular favorite source of sugar for Australian Aborigines living in arid regions, partially digging up their nests instead of digging them up entirely, in order to preserve this food source. In North America, lumbermen during the early years in Maine would eat carpenter ants to prevent scurvy. In South Africa, carpenter ants are among a vast number of species that are consumed by lots of the indigenous people. Management. You can get some reduction in ant numbers by applying pesticides to baseboards, moldings, sills, and behind appliances. Due to recent regulatory changes, there are fewer products available for use by someone without a pesticide applicator's license. Pressurized aerosol sprays are not designed to give effective, long-lasting ant control, so we do not recommend them for carpenter ants. If you see large numbers of ants indoors and suspect a severe infestation, we recommend consulting a licensed pest control firm. Professional exterminators have access to stronger, longer-lasting pesticides not available to the general public. We hope you enjoyed our in-depth exploration of these cool wood ants. That's all for now, folks. See you next time.